brother Brendan. Your surname Boyd.
That's right.
And he came from Carrowmore.
Well, to Ballinaleck.
That's right.
Ballinaleck, strictly speaking, no.
That's right. There's a small division there, the river, isn't it?
That's right. There's, the stream divides them.
Yeah. Oh, you live in the old house there in Boyd's. Oh, that's right. Sure, I remember.
Yeah.
You went to school in the old Carrowmore school there at the back.
Known as Carrowmore-Palmer. Carrowmore-Palmer National School.
Yeah.
It seems Palmer was the
founder.
The founder, and he used to finance this.
Indeed, he does, and he still does.
Is that so? That's interesting to know that. All right.
He contributes £20 a year towards the cost of the school.
I see. No, I didn't know that. I thought he was long forgotten. I suppose this.
Yeah. That school, I think, was there since 1820. I got a record going back that far.
1820, so that would be about it, I suppose.
Yeah, and Mrs. Palmer. You remember teachers in it in your time?
Yes, the teachers, I remember in it. I do remember Master McGunn, of course, living so close. Well, a funny thing happened once when I was a youngster.
Yeah.
I remember gathering up some old copies. There was only about 3 at the time, and I remember going across the fields, and I bolted into the school, and I saw all the pupils that were delighted to have some little any kind of a distraction, exactly. But I remember Master McGunn being very gentle to me and taking me out. I think he gave me something to put something into my pocket and send one of the Harley or somebody back with me again. Yes, I remember Master McGunn. But then when I started to go to school, the teachers you had there were the principal teacher was Mr. Clary. I don't know what his first name. I don't know, was it Sean? No, I'll remember that some other time. And Bridget McHale, she was teaching the small classes.
She came from Carrowmore.
That's right. Yeah. And I was only going a short time then to school when Mr. Clary got an appointment in his own. He was a native of Castlereagh, Roscommon.
Oh, yeah.
He got an appointment there.
So he moved off.
Yeah, and then Pat Lacken he was appointed then.
Yeah. Were you there when they changed the school up to Carrowmore?
Indeed I was. I was there that very morning. I remember well. Yes, it was on a Friday morning. The school was built. They started working that school. I'm not too sure now. Around March, it will be in the springtime of the year. So I wouldn't be too sure now of that. But I do know it was finished in the around June or thereabouts. I'm not very sure. I think around June, or it maybe gone into July. Just shortly before we closed for the summer summer holidays. Them times we used to close until the end of July for the summer holidays.
I came on records too where they worked the month of August. Some of the older teachers, Anthony McGunn and them around the 18.
That's right.
The time was real hard. Yes, and you were around in farming, I suppose, for a couple of years.
Yes, I hung around farming. Oh, you mentioned about going into new school. Yes, you went into the new school, and I went there for a number of years. I would be in around the 4th class, I think. Not too sure of those things. I'm not good at remembering those. I went for some 4 or 5 years more to school, and remember Bridget McHale. She retired after about 2 years in the school. That would be about 1935. The school was opened and built around in 1933. So about 1935 or thereabouts. Or it could be later. Bridget McHale was replaced by Miss Butler.
That's right. She was in it in my time.
Yes.
Now, I think that school is still in Ballinaleck, although they call it Carrowmore School, isn't it?
That's right. It is in the village. It is in the village of Ballinaleck. The green that goes at the back through McCormick's field is the boundary.
It is indeed, And they call it the Carrowmore School in fact, and the stone and stuff there is the Carrowmore School.
That's right.
So then there was no employment in the area when you were growing up?
Yeah, the employment was minimal, really. Niall McCormick, he employed them times. About 6 or 8 men, I suppose. lesser drone, not friends. He employed a few men, yes. Summerhill, yes, he would have a few there. Although Summerhill was it was taken over by the Land Commission, I think, and divided. I remember when I was a youngster, yes, it was still owned by Ernest McCormick. And Palmerston, yes, the Knoxes of Palmerston and the Knoxes of... Well, Castlereagh was... yes, I do remember Castlereagh when it was flourishing. I remember seeing some of the old Miss Knoxes.
Yeah, and Valentine, I suppose.
I don't remember him. It was one of the old ladies, I don't know what her name was, passing. It was a near cut whenever I used to have to go into my uncle Alec McGregor's. I remember Johnny McGregor taking me in through Castlereagh, and I remember I was very fascinated at that age, passing through the huge mansion. It was a very imposing place, all right. I remember seeing the peacocks walking on the tables inside the long tails, and it was I was really intrigued by the whole thing. So then Castlereagh, of course, was divided, and the big house, I remember there was a huge auction there, and some people have some of the antiques out of it.
And gates are all around the place.
Around the place. Yes, you had the Knoxes and the masses of Carden. And then about the employment, yes, Robert Knox, he was a very enterprising man. He got a mill going there in Palmerstown. I remember, I think Jack O'Hara was. He was the manager there.
He was.
And
would that be Morris now that had that?
Morris, that's right.
Yeah. That would be Cyril's brother.
Cyril's brother, indeed.
Yeah. Then you left. You were in the Lacken pipe band too for a while.
That's right.
The piper.
Right, the piper. I remember going into the Lacken pipe band. I think it would be about 1944, maybe a little earlier. Philip Lavin was my tutor. He was a very patient tutor, I must say. He gave you great encouragement. And I remember my first tunes, and when you had 3 tunes, I think it was, or 2, yes, they gave you your
set of pipes.
Your set of pipes, exactly. And yes, I was on the helmet.
You were on the practice chanter for a long time.
The practice chanter, all that blowing.
That's right.
We used to look forward to that. I think on Tuesday nights or something like that. We used to come up to the kitchen and yes, the harness room first. I think, yes, that's right. And then down to the kitchen, and we used to do our practicing there, and then we used to play at outings and so on. I was in the band until I left. That was in October 1946.
Yeah. You left fairly suddenly, I think.
Yes, it was. My I suppose it was kind of
none of the boys
describe it, spectacular, I suppose. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
I
tried to keep it very quiet.
Well, you did, because it was unexpected. I remember hearing the boys. They couldn't understand how you had gone so fast.
Yes, I went out of this all right. Mixed around with the boys and.
And you were telling me there it was from an advertisement you saw, and that.
That's right, an advertisement on the Hour Boys. We used to get the Hour Boys monthly. I think it was through the schools. I'm not too sure. We used to get it, and I was anxious to do something like that with myself. I was often wondering how and where I would get contact, because them times we were backward, I suppose, let's be honest about it.
Well, there was no radio or television at the time.
No radio or television.
And papers were few and far between. And the money wasn't there to buy papers either.
It wasn't exactly. And it wasn't there. Yes, I was wondering where and how I would do something about dedicating my life. And so that's how it came about. And that was the ways the Lord called me. It's good a ways as any, maybe.
Well, something always happens to get you into whatever you're going to be into,
indeed. Yes.
And you joined the Irish Christian Brothers.
The Irish Christian Brothers.
That'll be the one founded by Rice.
Edmund Rice.
Was it Ignatius?
Edmund was his Christian name, and he took Ignatius as his religious name. Edmund Ignatius Rice.
So you're down now in...
I'm in Lismore,
County Waterford. Yeah. And you have been there since?
I'm out there and I've just finished 1 year in the small.
Oh, you haven't spent all your time there?
No, indeed I have not.
Well, where else?
I have been in 5 years in a place called Doneraile, County Cork, where the home of Canon Sheehan.
Indeed, I read about him.
Yes,
the court trials.
Yeah,
yes. In Ballinaleck. Where was the first seminary you went to?
My first seminary was Colostic Bray.
Yeah. How many years you spent there?
Old Connaught House. I spent 2 years. I spent 1 year there. I did I spent a year there as a postulant.
Yeah.
Then I went on to St. Helens, Bookstown, and did my novitiate year there. 14 months altogether from early in July until the end of August.
Yeah.
And then I was sent back to Colostic again on the staff for 2 years more. Then I was changed back to St. Helens, the novitiate.
Where would that be now?
That's the same place as I made my novitiate, St. Helens, Bourstown,
where
I made my novitiate first. Then I was changed out to Ballinaleck. I did something with sick people or old brothers and invalid brothers I used to help out with them. And I spent 2 years there.
Yeah.
I was changed back again to St. Helens and spent another 2 years there.
Yeah.
Then I was changed back to Bray and Colostic again. Spent something like 8 years there.
Yeah.
And then they built a new, another house of studies for our young brothers, and they did their studies after their novitiate, and I spent another 8 years there. Then I was shifted down to Kilcock.
Yeah.
Yes, I spent 8 years in Kilcock. 8 of the happiest years some of the happiest years of my time in the brothers.
In Kilcock?
In Kilcock.
Yeah. Has you more freedom or what?
Yes, that would be it. The Vatican II was being implemented exactly. It was becoming a reality, and
you could take off with cars and move into Dublin and drive around.
Right. Yeah. That's right, and given a little freedom, more time at home, and all that.
Yeah.
And
well, life was tough when you went in there first, was it?
Indeed, it was tough, very tough.
Could you give a brief description of what you rise in the morning at about?
Yes, rising in the morning at 6:15.
Yeah.
You rose in the morning at 6:15. A huge bell rang, and you were summoned to the chapel, and you prayed there until 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then you had mass, and after mass, you sat down to breakfast.
Yeah.
And I'll always remember the first morning I ever came into that refectory. I remember coming down to mass, and the bell, somebody rang the bell. It knocked the jump out of me, and we said the grace before meals. We sat down, and I turned round to have a chat with the fellow beside me. And then I discovered that we were all in silence. It was then I began to feel the pinch. Yes, we used to have breakfast in silence, and then do our charges, and then we went on to whatever we had to do then during the day, studies or manual work during the novitiates. And if you're teaching school, well, you went out to school and did your usual day's work in school. Well, that was all right. Then, yes, your dinner too would be in silence again. There would be readings. You got your recreations, yes. All the meals wouldn't be in silence, like your tea and all that would be. You would have recreation, you would be allowed to talk. But as the years went by, and with Vatican II, all that has been relaxed, and
it's free for all. You can chat away.
You can chat away now, and you can at the same time you have plenty of scope for silence and prayer, and
if you want to,
as you want to. And we have our retreats, you see, and our recollection times. They have changed too. A retreat now is it's directed. It's a more personal thing. There are some experts that guide you and
give lectures.
Yes, exactly.
You didn't have any freedom for moving out among the...
Oh, indeed, you had those restrictions too. You couldn't leave the
grounds.
Leave the ground or leave the house without permission, and you had to be back at a certain time.
Yeah. Well, you'd be only allowed maybe would it be once a week, twice a week, once a month?
Well, you were allowed walks out into the country, a few miles, and and that would be for about 2 hours in the evening. And yes, we could go to matches, of course. Croke Park if you were in Dublin.
Yeah. Had they any cars or transport?
In the beginning, no. Cars were a rarity. And then gradually they began to come in. And now, yes, you have a car in every community. Where I am at the moment, actually, we have a car for the community, and we have a minibus as well. Again, the minibus is a great asset. We're lucky in having a very good parent committee that collected for the minibus and they presented the minibus, and we can take boys out on weekends, take them up the mountains. Indeed. And matches and all that.
And tours, yes.
Tours, exactly.
Tours. Yeah. You were involved in the school side of it now too. You have a primary school, you're telling me, then you have a secondary school.
Primary and a secondary school. Yeah. We would have about 150 or thereabouts in each of them.
What you do?
And we hope to have a comprehensive school there in Lismore in a few years' time. Well, it will be 5 or 6 years. It's still in dispute, shall I say. They're trying to amalgamate Cappoquin, the convent in Lismore, and the Christian Brothers. And there would be a question of extending the Christian Brothers secondary school because it's a new school and they would only have to get in those extra buildings. And that would be a great thing if we could get that. We could have the extra subjects, technical drawing, building construction, metalwork, which we haven't at the moment. Yes, we have woodwork, and which I'm involved in myself.
Yes, I was going to ask you that. You became a carpenter since you left. I
tinkered around with it, and I'm keen on the drawing.
Mechanical drawing.
Yes, I used to do the technical stuff too. We have no we haven't the room, or we can fit in all these subjects.
In other words, you haven't the facilities for what you're doing.
Right. So if we could get the community school, we could have all those things.
Where did you learn the carpentry? Was it away while you were?
I went to the technical schools. It's been 4 years, and it was hard going in those times.
Indeed.
We used to have 2 nights a week at it, 3 hours, and I learned my carpentry under the tuition of Paddy Byrne, a chap from Cabinteely. He was younger than myself, actually. He lives now in Tennehealy. He's still working at antiques, and he teaches in the Tech in Wicklow, I think. And we still correspond.
Oh, indeed.
We have kept up the
correspondence all these years. Yeah. You still come back here, though, to visit this?
Yes. Yeah. I love to. I live for that.
Is that so?
To get back to the... I have the nostalgias are there for the home, and
well, it has changed.
Yes, I dream about home every night of the year. Actually.
Yes, I suppose when you come back, you find a disappointment. It's just not like what you thought it would be.
Yes, that is the disappointment, and going around seeing
the people are gone that you
all the changes and the new faces, the strange faces, and some of the old ones still to the good. The odd one, they're few and far between now.
Yeah. You get holidays many times in the year now.
Oh well, holidays they're a very flexible thing with us, as we take them as we feel.
Oh, that's not
we
too bad.
Go where we want to go and when we want to go, and as long as we want to, as we like. Well, when I say that, within
reason.
Within bounds of the
within
reason.
reason.
We are allowed 4 weeks, but could be a little more, could be a little less. Indeed. Some brothers don't bother moving out. They might go to their relatives, and if they had some of them. So happens that their relatives might be nearly gone, they would be all dead.
Yeah, and they wouldn't have
There's great flexibility in all those things now, and it is, I think it's only right that it should.
right.
As long as we don't abuse it.
Indeed. You do it, I suppose, all over again.
Oh, well, the answer is yes. Yes.
It's the same with everybody. Ask us to do the same thing when they do it again, and I think most of them would.
But really, we don't get the numbers now. The explanation is, what is the explanation? I just don't know. Because to me, when I say, would I do it all over again? Yes, it was hard in the beginning, but at present, the Christian brothers and the religious life, our life really, it never had so much to offer. It's really, I'll call it a real fulfillment.
You think so?
Yes, in the Christian, speaking from a Christian point of view.
Yeah. So you think that there's no truth in the rumour that goes around, or what people say, that a lot of them joined there to escape their responsibilities?
No, none whatsoever. No, that's altogether.
Yeah.
That's all truth.
Yeah, because you're busy every day and you have useful things to do. In fact, more useful than...
Yes, that is what I'm coming at. For me, my life is, I have a backload of work, more than I will never be able to get through my backload. All the things I want to do, and that the very things I like to do.
Yeah.
And I have
that gives you satisfaction.
Plenty to keep me, keep me going. I will never be bored stiff.
Yeah, but that's what gives you satisfaction, I suppose, out of life, isn't it?
Yes,
that's what gives most people satisfaction, whatever job they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To be occupied.
Roger, you put it